Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Willie, and this is the encouraging word for today. Our friend Abraham, still the name Abram at this point, is struggling at times with his faith because he has a promise from God. Yet as the years go by, it doesn't seem to be happening. We've all been in that type of situation, if we're honest with ourselves. We struggle. We have doubts. We wonder, when, God? What's happening? So Abraham had that same struggle. And God appears to him when he's 99 years old. And God makes a covenant with him, a binding promise. But he still doesn't see the promise. The promise is to be the father of many nations and to have a child. It starts with one child with his wife Sarah. So listen to chapter 17 of Genesis, verse 4 and 5. It gives us a key to understanding faith and understanding God's promises to us. Listen to Genesis 17, 4 and 5. This is God speaking. As for me, this is my covenant with you. You will be the father of many nations. No longer will you be called Abram, you will be called Abraham. Here it is. For I have made you a father of many nations. God starts by saying, this is my covenant with you. Now, a covenant in Old Testament times was between two parties. Notice God didn't say, this is the covenant between you and me, because a normal covenant requires both parties to do what they have to do. Otherwise, the covenant is broken. God made a covenant with Abram based on his own character. This is my covenant with you. It doesn't depend on Abram. It depends solely upon God and his character. Yes, people break covenants, promises, but God never breaks a promise, never breaks a covenant. He cannot do so because of his character. He's 100% trustworthy, and he will never break a covenant. So when God gives you a promise, or me a promise, or we read a promise that applies to us from the Word of God, an example would be that all things work together for good for those who are called according to God's purposes. That is a promise to us. Whether we see it or not, whether we understand it or not, it's a promise. Another promise will be the second coming of Jesus Christ. He will come and right every wrong. Maybe we don't see it. Things seem to be getting worse, but God makes the covenant. It totally, only, and forever depends on God and his faithfulness, and he can't be anything but faithful. That's the first understanding. Then God says to him, you will be the father of many nations. That's a future tense. You will, talking about the future. But it's not manifested yet. It's a promise. That's what a promise is. Something that's going to happen in the future. Then God changes his name from Abram to Abraham. Abraham means, most people believe, the father of many. And then here's the key, the last part. God says, for I, God, have made you a father of many nations. Do you catch that? It's not future tense. Not I will make you. It's I have made you. Present, completed tense. God said it. It's as good as done. It is done. When God promises something, it's not like us. It depends and let's see what happens. No, God promises it is done. It is established in the spiritual realm, and it will, in God's time, manifest in the present physical realm. So that's an amazing understanding to have. God's promises are, even though they may occur in the future, they are present tense. They've been done. It's done already. It's done already. If God says he will restore his people, it's done, even though you don't see it. If God says he will cause all things to work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose, it's done already. It's done. It just has not been manifested yet. So it's a totally different kind of covenant and promise that we can even imagine. It is said, God said, I have made you the father of many nations. Abraham didn't see it, but God had already done it. And you know what? Millions, if not billions, I think 40% of the world's population today can trace their lineage to Abraham. Because God makes different kind of promises. When God promises something, it is already done. We just have to wait for it to be manifested. And that, my friends, is what builds our faith, understanding the character of God. So God bless you. I'll see you again tomorrow as we continue our faith journey. And tomorrow we're going to look at Sarah's story. She's been silent in the story. And we're going to look at the inner battle of faith, Sarah's story. God bless you, and I'll see you then. Take care.